Hello everyone, this is Bhavik Chokshi over here. Hope you guys are doing great. Studies going in full swing and you're taking good care of your health. So today's video is for CA Final Financial Reporting, paper number 1. New syllabus, your ABC analysis as well as the last day study plan. For the old syllabus, there is no real change and hence the video that is already there should work. This video is applicable for students who are giving in November, that is 21st of November, cycle 1, or in cycle number 2 as announced in January or February as the case may be. So what we are going to discuss over here is the ABC analysis. So category A, where you get more than 70 to 75 marks of your paper. Category B, topics which would come for around 30 to 35 marks of your paper. And category C, which are of relatively lesser importance, so that you can emphasize the right areas while preparing in the last week, and also the day by day study plan and the important areas to focus on. So let's get started without investing a lot of time. First, we have the ABC analysis. I'll share the PDF for this as well. So we have divided topics into 3 categories. Category A would have around 70 to 75 marks. This is the most important category, and while planning we have also ensured that this category gets done faster and you get more time to prepare for this. A few topics which are guaranteed exam weightages would be financial instruments, consolidation, business combination and share-based payments. These have always carried weightage in all the exams that have gone by. So I would strongly recommend you do these 4 properly. Apart from that, you do have 2 almost certain topics. That is lease, which is the first time the lease standard is going to be tested. I'm reasonably confident you are getting a question on lease. And revenue recognition, India's 115. The 2 attempts that have gone by, both of them carried 115 weightage, and we're expected to carry this further as well. Apart from that, other category A topics would include EPS. Institute has added fairly good questions in the study material, and it is high time it tests those questions. So I would definitely expect a question on EPS in this exam. Income taxes, sometimes Institute does ask a full-fledged question, or most of the times it asks as a part of a larger business combination or other topic question, but you need to do deferred taxes properly. Whether you like it or not, deferred taxes is important. Employee benefits, the unfortunate story of your life, whatever is the most difficult is generally the most important. So that also applies for employee benefits being another important topic. Within assets, you have property, plant and equipment entirely, along with impairment, Ind AS 36, which are the 2 important topics. So PP and impairment have had a fairly good share of weightage. Foreign exchange also the Institute has been asking quite frequently, so we'll put this into tier 1. And lately, Institute has been asking a fair bit of schedule 3 questions. So we have even put that, whether it is the RTP or whether it is the main exams of November 19, May 2019, good 12 or 16 marks questions have come from this. So it is important. I've also uploaded a video for this. So do that properly. CSR, it's a very easy topic, but the only topic which is non-Ind AS based, and hence 4 marks hai to kya? That can actually be a difference between your 399 and 400. So even if it is 4 marks, please do that properly. CSR is an easy topic. Do not take it lightly. Please do that properly as well. So this is your category A. These are the important topics. Now B and C as well. Unlike your other 7 or 8 papers, financial reporting does not have that stress that you have to complete everything in the last 1.5 days. You do have a good week's time, and hence I would strongly recommend you go through the entire course. It's the first paper, and your first paper goes well, and it has a lot of good positive rollover effects for the other paper. Do not compromise a day or 2 for studying something else at the cost of your paper number 1. This is not because I teach financial reporting. If it was any paper, if it is your first paper, that has to be the most crucial paper, right? So it sets the tone for your innings that you are playing. So please do give 6 odd days and cover everything. But while you are covering everything, these category A topics, please do that in a lot of depth. Category B topics, we have listed items like related parties, segment reporting, provisions and contingencies, intangibles, borrowing cost, non-current assets, held for sale, etc. We have listed all of these. You should do all of them, but do not invest a very large amount of time here. And category C being the least important topics, and unfortunately this is a very small list. Which also I would expect you to study. There is investment property and largely those items which are in module 1, which were the simpler topics like presentation of financial statements, or events occurring after balance sheet date, cash flow statement, etc. So this is your overall picture. You should focus very well on the practical questions of consolidation as well as financial instruments. These are definitely going to come in your exam for a good 15 to 30 marks, and hence please do those questions properly. If possible, do consolidation on pen and paper at least for a question or two, so that you get a hang of the flow of the question. Okay, now the topics to be covered, we have segregated it day wise. I expect you, assuming you are giving the 21st of November cycle, I expect you to start on 15th of November. That is immediately the day after Diwali. So you might be probably cribbing around कि यार दिवाली है, उसमें क्या है? हम लोग ने भी जब एग्जाम दिया था, we gave the exam on 1st of November, but Diwali was there in the last week of October as well. So as CA students, we should be prepared for that, and hence we start this on the New Year. So the Hindu New Year starts on 15th of November, and we start our studies in full throttle 15th of November. I think somewhat 2077. Yes. So the slightly difficult year hopefully has gone by, and we start the new year with all our energy. So on 15th of November we will start. That is our day one, going up to 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th and 20th, and then you have the exam day. Okay, in each of these days, how do I want you to go ahead? I've kind of tried to cover the topics. Over here we have the topics written, and over here the focus areas. Again, at the cost of repetition, I'm not emphasizing and telling you only to study this, but the focus areas are those topics where I would want you to spend a little more time. Okay, so on the first day, start with share-based payments. It's a relatively lighter chapter, does come for 6 to 8 marks almost always, and hence start with that chapter, get into the flow. We have kept 2 to 3 hours for this, depending on your speed, but start with share-based payments, finish that, and then go to the big daddy. Do financial instruments. Do not keep it at the end, and this is one standard which has a lot of application even in business combination, even in other topics. So I would want you to do it earlier, and we have kept a generous 10 to 12 hours for one topic. So you should be in a good position to complete this in the entire day. I am assuming that you will be studying for around 13 to 14 effective hours, and that is something that you should, once you are focused, ensure that you kind of clock that in your last few days. Whatever has gone by has gone by. There's no point discussing about that, no point cribbing about that. What you have now, you have to go all guns blazing, and the last days are the most crucial days. So please do dedicate 13 to 14 effective study hours in the last few days. In terms of your focus areas, compound financial instruments being very important. Apart from that, accounting for financial assets and liabilities, the amortized cost at market rates, off market rates, fair value through profit and loss, other comprehensive income, all of these are very important, and the accounting for derivatives. So there are a few topics, even if you're referring to the study material, where a lot of theory cases are there. That is relatively lesser important. You have almost always got questions which involve solving, which involve numbers in financial instruments. So yes, definition of financial asset, liability, contractual cash flows, characteristics, all of this is there, but a very strong emphasis on the solving, especially the part over here. In terms of ESOP, in the past, if you go to see, there have been 2 questions on stock appreciation rights that have come, and 2 questions on vesting conditions, performance linked vesting conditions have come. I do expect performance linked vesting to be still important, and then ESOP with cash alternatives. This is something which is yet to be tested, and something which definitely deserves to be tested in the exam. So please do that properly. That is my area of importance. On the second day, you should ensure that you stick to the targets, please. On the second day, you will cover the asset link standards. These are largely there in your module 2. So while preparing, we have ensured that we don't put all the topics on one day and all indices on together. Otherwise, indices involve a bit of theory and it might get a little daunting. So you're trying to mix it one day of topics involving solving, like share-based payment, financial instruments, then indices, then again going to topics, then again indices, and so on. You can take this if it suits you. The asset linked indices in module 2, except for leases. Leases would involve some more time, so we have not kept it on this day. In the order in which I have written, preferably in that same order, 16 PP, then intangibles and investment property goes in a flow. Then 36 and 105, impairment and non-current assets held for sale, again goes in a flow. And then a special case, that is agriculture and inventory. Government grants also to be covered over here, Ind AS 20, because asset linked grants, etc. Agriculture and government grants have some interlinkage. We have also written schedule 3 over here because the next day we are going to start with business combination and then consolidation. So your knowledge of schedule 3 is helpful while revising a business combination or a consolidation chapter as well. The focus areas on day 2 would be impairment of a cash generating unit, general borrowings in case of borrowing costs. I think I've forgotten to write Ind AS 23 over here, तो वो भी आप लिख के रखो. General borrowings in case of borrowing cost, capitalization, initial cost of PP, revaluation and component depreciation. Okay, so these are the important topics. Also, generally, you can keep around maximum 1.5 to 2 hours per Ind AS, except for the bigger ones like property, plant and equipment, and impairment might take slightly more, but otherwise try to finish everything in 1.5 to 2 hours max per Ind AS. Day 3 is when you start afresh with the chapter on lease. This is something which is definitely going to come in your exam. Do this properly. Do the study material questions properly for the time being. I don't really think you need to run behind anything more. The first attempt, and usually institute will stick to what it has asked in the study material. I'm reasonably confident in that. So hopefully they do stick to that. You have lease 4 to 5 hours. Please do invest that. And then you have business combination for 8 to 9 hours. In the matter of flow, first do business combination and then consolidation. A lot of concepts of consolidation like goodwill, non-controlling interest, etc. have been discussed in business combination. So please do that first, and then on the very next day consolidation, so that you are very much in touch with these. So over here, the lease accounting in general, especially in the books of the lessee, purchase consideration in case of business combination, and detailed business combination questions are a must. I would again emphasize you to do the one question on reverse acquisition, which is there. I think question 2 of test your knowledge, or question 45 or 44, I think, of our books, which is the only detailed question dedicated to reverse acquisition that the institute has done and not yet tested. So it is a very high likelihood that it might test a very similar question. So please do that properly. Even if you have not understood it as well, please just kind of invest some time and do that question properly. Okay, then going to consolidation, around 9 to 10 hours, specifically focusing again on the detailed questions of consolidation and the equity method, detailed consolidation questions and the equity method for associate. Consolidation at the beginning has a lot of cases involving control, involving power, involving a lot of theory points. They are relatively lesser important. I would not say that they are not important, but they carry a relatively lesser weightage, at least based on past trends. So glance through them, but do detailed problems properly. At least solve 1 or 2 questions in the flow. See how much time it takes. Take a stopwatch. Even if you know the question, know the solution, solve it. See how much time it takes. See how the working notes flow. See how the schedule 3 format you are preparing is. Try to ensure that consolidation gets over in 40, at max 45 minutes. That is too long, but still just try to time yourself so that while you're writing the main paper, if you have to cut corners and probably write short form somewhere or cut down on the working notes, you can do that if you're quite sure of the flow as well as the time it will take. So please do practice consolidation. And immediately after consolidation, please do foreign exchange. There are quite a few concepts of consolidation, especially in foreign operations, which are used in foreign exchange standard, and hence I would recommend that you do that immediately after consolidation. That is Ind AS 21, the standard on foreign exchange. Over here, the foreign operation accounting, quite a few cases and questions linked to that, even that has come in the exam, foreign currency translation reserve calculation, and the especially in one of the recent RTBC that come, amortized cost application in case of foreign currency. So that should take care of your day 4. Now we have done a lot of chapters, almost all the big. So if you can see, we have tried to focus a lot on your category A chapters, and so we don't want to keep them for the end where you are in a lot of stress or pressure and you have to just touch them upon. We have kept the relatively lighter topics on the last day, so that if time is short and you are unable to stick to your timings, you can actually flip over quickly, which is very difficult to be done in financial instruments or even consolidation. So over here in the next day, we go to revenue, one of the last big standards that are remaining, revenue under Ind AS 115, which is again 4 to 5 hours, generous amount of time, and other important Ind ASs like Ind AS 12, deferred taxes. Then you have employee benefits and EPS and CSR. So 4 to 5 hours for leases, and then the other important topics. The important points over here, step 3, 4 and 5 of revenue recognition. Transaction price, allocation of that, and the revenue recognition being the most important. Deferred tax calculation, in EPS rights and diluted EPS, also looking at the application of financial instruments being important. For employee benefits, defined benefit plans, and in CSR, what has been asked till now is the applicability. A case is given and the applicability of that company to CSR is what is important. Day 6, everything else that is remaining, and largely these are category B or category C topics. And we have kept it at the end so that in case you're short of time, you can easily rush through topics like Ind AS 10, events occurring after balance sheet date, or Ind AS 7, cash flow statement, rather than investing a lot of time at the beginning. If you have time, do them in detail, typically around 1.5 hours at max. 1 to 1.5 hours per topic should suffice. Over here, you have other topics like related parties, interim financial reporting, segment reporting also, which are in category B, which we have included over here. All other topics will go on day number 6, within which OCI items, what goes in OCI, reclassifiable, non-reclassifiable, related party identification, whether a particular transaction or a particular party is a related party or not, tax, calculation of tax specifically in interim financial statements, reportable segments, the 10% criteria threshold and the segment report, contingent liability and assets, the accounting, should you provide, should you recognize as an asset, what is virtual certainty, all of that. In the cash flow, the indirect method, and what is fair value, what is principal market, most advantageous market, etc. is something that you should focus on. Day number 6. Exam day, we have kept it as buffer just in case you are out of time or there is a spillover in your planning, you still have a few more hours to cover up. Otherwise, I would strongly recommend you stick to the plan. No matter what, stick to the plan, and at the end you get this very valuable few hours on the exam day where you can touch upon everything that you have done. Just glance through it. That mere sight on the day before your exam does an invaluable job. So please do ensure that you just go through it on the day before your exam and stick to your plan. A few important topics that I have written which you should not miss is get adequate sleep. The day before your exam, I cannot emphasize enough on this. And I'm a strong advocate of the fact that a very fresh mind does a lot more wonders than a tired mind who has even covered the entire syllabus. So you have to go all guns blazing, and at least a 6-hour sleep the day before your exam is a must, no matter what. If you have to leave a topic, leave it, but do not compromise on your sleep. You are in for a good 16 days. You cannot compromise and be tired on each of those days. You have to feel fresh. Get adequate sleep. Time yourself. Almost always the most difficult paper to complete in your exams among all the 8 papers is the financial reporting paper. 1, due to the length. 2nd, due to the mere fact that it is placed at paper 1 and you are always a little jittery, a little nervous. You would want to prepare notes, do the double lines, etc. So you have to time yourself. Ensure that you don't go overboard. The thumb rule is 1.8 minutes per mark. So if it's a 10-mark question, 18 minutes, 5-mark question, 9 minutes. Roughly, you should be able to time yourself every time. So if you're writing big essays, you have to stop. Well, it's 5 marks, 9 minutes. You are at 7th minute, kind of cut it short and write. Consolidation, etc. will take slightly more time. That has to be compensated at other topics. Otherwise, you're leaving the paper, which is a crime. You should be completing all 100 marks unless you don't know something. And start solving the most comfortable question. Please do not start with questions like consolidation, etc., where the consolidated balance sheet might not necessarily tally. Start with what gives you the most comfort and confidence. Keep consolidation for somewhere in the middle. Okay, so I think that largely sums up everything. Good luck for your exams. God bless you. We are in slightly uncertain and slightly unfortunate times for you, but trust me, anything that goes easy does not carry as much value. You are in an attempt where there is the maximum amount of uncertainties, but that should not act as an excuse. It should act as a push, a motivator. That will be a story that you will carry to your friends and your family, that you have fought all adversities and come out stronger. Please do focus your energy in the right direction and wish you all the very best. Do study hard. Goodbye.